Hello friends, today we're going to be looking at Xpand 2. It's a virtual instrument from Air. You can buy it for $100 and sometimes it's on sale for $10. I got it for free when I bought my Alesis V Mini. Alright, so here's a quick overview of this instrument. They have quite a few different sounds, as you can see, just kind of scanning the preset names, anything from leads to pads, which you'd expect, woodwind, strings, drums, bass, all that good stuff. As you go through these different presets, you notice that there are 4 slots right here, and these slots have your different samples. Just going to start at the top with these smart knobs. The A, B, C, D just coordinates these sound files here. So looking at A, I have a couple different options, and these options change depending on which sound is in this. So I'm going to just flip through these. You can do that with these arrows here. And the controls vary quite a bit depending on what sample you have loaded in. Usually it has attack, release, a filter, and then a few others. This is just an info box giving me information about whatever preset selected and then a master volume. So here where I have my different sounds loaded in, Xpand 2 is calling these parts and they have the same set of controls. Here I just have a level, panning, and then sending it to a return channel which has my different effects, which I'll get into later. In this box I have control over transposition. I can use these little arrows, which are actually really hard to click, they're super tiny, or I can just grab this and slide up and down. So the top part is semitones, and then this bottom part is sense, so if you want to get some fine tuning in. And that's really cool, especially since you have these different sounds you can load in, you can do some retuning, you can do some octave stuff. I always find that useful. So these 2 boxes are giving you the range of what's actually going to be picked up in this sound. Meaning that if I have this set C2 to G8, which is the default, all of those notes on my keyboard are going to play a sound. And that's useful because one side of the keyboard I could play my melody on using one sound, and I could play a bass line with my left hand using the other side of the keyboard. And I'm not saying that that's not useful, there's just better ways to do that now. And also this isn't a great control, it's very sensitive, and it's very hard to dial in the exact note range that you want, so it's good that they had that, and I'm sure it was probably more useful at the time, but in modern Ableton and other DAWs, there's just better solutions. This box is letting you select polyphonic or monophonic, as well as the number of voices. And this number is letting you decide how big of a pitch bend range you want. And it's just defaulted at 2 for all of them since that's the standard. Then we have an ARP feature, which is actually really cool. I'm just kind of discovering this now, making this video. Just turning it on, you have a latch mode, meaning that you can let go of the keys and the ARP is going to remain. And rather than having a step sequencer or anything that you can set, it's all presets. Some people might find that limiting, but in modern DAWs, there's so many ways to get that effect if you want to be really specific in step sequencing. This is kind of just a cool add-on because it adds a bit of unpredictability. And of course you have the rate. Yeah, these gates I like a lot. Yeah, so that's a really cool feature, and I wasn't super tuned into that. I had been using this, and I knew the presets had some arpeggios on it, but I wasn't super looking under the hood. So that was a cool discovery. And our last feature here is mod. And this first part is controlling what your mod wheel does. The first part is controlling what waveform is actually doing the modulation. The second part is what it's modulating, so the pitch, the waveform, the filter, the volume, and the panning. And the waveform is variable depending on what you have loaded in there. Then you have the rate and the depth. And these 2 parts are for the same thing, but it's for aftertouch. Yeah, and as you can see, that's the same setup for all 4 sounds here. So there's actually quite a bit of flexibility in changing sounds and mixing different sounds together. You can also save your own presets. Then on the bottom is we have our effects, and you can see they have reverbs, delays. They have quite a few in here. And like I said, each channel has their own send knob where they can be sent into those effects. So yeah, I think this is actually pretty versatile and has quite a bit of functionality for what it is. Let's dive into some presets. Kind of texture kind of stuff. And there's actually a lot of presets here, like a crazy amount, so I won't be going through all these, but just looking at these main sections here, you can see that they pretty much have you covered for just about anything you want to make. And the sounds are kind of hit and miss. Some of them I like a lot, some of them I think are sounding pretty cheap and outdated, but it's one of those plugins that you just gotta hunt around and you can actually find some pretty good stuff. Definitely has some good sounds. I think there's some use you can get out of this even today. Had quite a bit more functionality and editing capabilities than what I expected. But it's not Omnisphere. There's definitely better tools out there in this day and age. But if you find this on sale for $10, I think it's definitely worth picking up. Thank you for making it to the end, and I'll see you next time. Peace.